Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be shopping my stash and doing a get ready with me. I don't really have an idea for what I wanted to do for the makeup today, so I just kind of picked products that I was in the mood to use and we'll see what we come up with. Usually these are the types of looks that I love the most when I don't really plan it, I just kind of do it. So I'm taking you with me through my makeup collection to pick out some products and then we'll use them and do our makeup together. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. And let's get into picking the makeup. All right, let's pick out some makeup. We'll start with primer. Honestly, I was gonna pick a primer, but I might skip. Well, actually, no. Let's use this, actually. This little Smashbox primerizer. This is just, it's basically like a hydrating moisturizer, but my skin the last few days has been feeling a little bit drier than normal, so I think we might do a little bit of this. I just have the mini size. So we'll do that for primer and that's it. I'm not gonna do a glowy primer because I think we're probably gonna use a glowier foundation. So let's pick which foundation to use. I have a few in mind. I'm trying to pick things that I haven't used in a while. This is the Bare Minerals Original Pure Serum Radiant Natural Liquid Foundation. It has such a long name. I have not used this in months and months, and this has SPF in it too. I liked it. It wasn't like an immediate favorite for me, so I kind of want to use this again and see what I think now after a few months, and that's a very hydrating, glowy product, so I think we'll go with that. Okay, then for color corrector, which is over here, I think I might do Exa. This is the Exa High Fidelity Color Corrector. This is one of my favorites. I haven't used it in a little while though. This is the shade Peach. I think we'll go with that. I actually have, I guess we'll pull this out too. I have the pink color as well. Usually I will mix the two, so maybe I'll pull both out. And then last for concealer, Kulfi. That's one I haven't used in a while. Or, let's see. I might actually pull two out. I think we will actually. I'm gonna do these two. I might even try mixing them. The Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear and the Kulfi crease-free, or I think it's Main Match crease-free concealer. I think we'll pull those. And that should be everything for this drawer. Moving into powders, which are over on this side. That Bare Minerals foundation is definitely on the glowier side, so we definitely need something that's pretty mattifying. You know what? Let's pull out this, well, I was gonna say the Givenchy powder, but maybe let's do this one from Huda Beauty. This is Cherry Blossom Cake. I honestly don't use that very much, but it is a very mattifying powder, so we're going to pull that out. And then I might even pull one other powder in case I don't want to put that everywhere. I'm going to pull this powder out too. This is Fenty Invisimatte. It's just a white translucent powder. This is newer to me, so I'm still kind of testing it out, but let's pull that out as well, and that should be good for powder. All right, I have my face palettes over here. I don't think I'm gonna use face palette today, so we'll skip that, but I need to pick a bronzer. Let's do my NARS cream bronzer. This is in Laguna 01. This is a gray cream bronzer. I have not used this one in a while though. So I think we'll go with that, and then I'm trying to decide if I want to pull out a powder bronzer as well. Maybe we will pull this one out too. This is the Pat McGrath bronzer. This is shade, I always forget the name, Nude Honey. Pretty color. Haven't used that one lately either. I think we'll do that, and that should be it for here. Okay, let's pick a blush. Haven't used my Rare Beauty blushes in a while, so I could use one of those, or kind of want to pull this blush out, one of the most basic neutral blushes in my whole collection. But this is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Exposed, which is just a beautiful rosy nude. Such just a classic product. I kind of want to pull this out for some reason. I think I will actually. And I'm going to pull this blush out too. We might use both or we might just use one. I don't know. This is Rare Beauty in the shade Bliss, which is one of the matte colors in the liquid blushes. So I think these two might pair well together. And they're pretty neutral as well, so I can kind of do whatever I want with the eyes for those. So I think that is everything for here. All right, let's choose a brow product. I'm gonna do Rare Beauty Brow Gel with, I think maybe with the Makeup by Mario brow pencil. And let's see, I'm gonna do an eye primer. I think I'll just go with the Rare Beauty eye primer. For single shadows, I'm not exactly sure if I want a single shadow or not. I'm gonna pull this shadow stick out. I might not end up using it, but I might use it as a base or something, or I might just not use it at all. But this is Bobbi Brown in the shade Taupe. It's a really nice, warm, taupey brown. I think we will pull that out, and then I'm also going to pull this out. This is Charlotte Tilbury Color Chameleon in Amber Haze. It's a really pretty bronzy shadow stick. So I'm going to pull that out also. And let's see, for a mascara, I think we'll do YSL Lash Clash in the shade Brown. I think that's it. All right, let's pick a palette now. I don't even know if I'm gonna use a palette or not. Ooh, or you know what we could do? Should we do this? I kind of want to pull this palette out, the Yucca palette. I don't really know what look I would do with this, but I kind of want to pull this out again. I think we will. So we're gonna go with Yucca from Natasha Denona. Finally, we have lips down here on the bottom. Lips are so hard to choose for these Shop My Stash videos if I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. So we may have to switch this up, but I think I want a Makeup by Mario lip liner. I'm gonna pull this one out. This is Travis. It's a really nice neutral, kind of medium toned brown. So I'm gonna pull that one and then maybe one more. I really like mixing them. I was gonna say I'm gonna pull Toasty also from Mario. I think we'll pull this out too. I'm not really sure what I want to use. I was gonna do another Mario, but I think we'll do Victoria Beckham. This is the lip definer in shade number 2. We might mix them. Okay, I think I'm gonna pull this lipstick out. We'll probably put a gloss over the top of it. But this is Oh She's Single from Patrick Paw. It's a really light nude. So I'll probably pair that with some type of lip gloss. Maybe this. This is Pat McGrath Flesh Fantasy. It's a nude, but it's a little bit of a rosier nude. We'll pull that out as well. We may end up switching the lip. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But I think that is everything. All right, let's start with SPF. We're gonna use this one today. This is Skin 1004, which is my favorite if I had to pick. I haven't done SPF today, so we're gonna do this first. I love this stuff. It never does anything weird or interferes with my makeup in any way. I love it. And then I'm just using the lip mask from Sigma on my lips. All right, let's get into the makeup. So I pulled out this Smashbox primerizer for a primer, but I actually think that SPF hydrated my skin enough, so I don't really think I need that. I think I'm gonna switch and apply just a little bit of this. This is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Soft Blurring Primer, and I'm gonna use a little bit of this, but really just in the T-zone where I have visible pores, and just when I look the shiniest, it's typically like right here by my nose. So I'm gonna take this and really just concentrate it right here. For foundation, we're gonna use this one from Bare Minerals. This is the original Pure Serum Radiant Natural Liquid Foundation. This came out, I don't know, 6 months ago. Actually, no, it's been longer than that, maybe about a year ago now. And no one talks about it. I did a video on it when it first came out, and I haven't really heard anyone talk about it since. So I figured we could use it today. I remember liking it, but I wasn't like blown away by it. This is the shade Light Number 2. I remember it being, yeah, very liquidy, like very, very liquidy, and it definitely runs dark. So that is it there. Yeah, it's like the most watery, liquidy texture ever. This is the shade Light Number 2, and this definitely does not look like a light tone to me, but supposedly it's like neutral number 2. Look how dark that is. Does that look like a light tone to you? Let's blend this in. I'm using a Smashbox blurring foundation brush. Have you tried this foundation? Let me know. I feel like that happens a lot with Bare Minerals products. They come out with these things and I don't know, maybe they don't do PR or maybe they do, I don't know, but I feel like you never hear about Bare Minerals new releases for some reason. It is extremely thin, the most watery, thin consistency possible. So there it is all over. I mean, it's definitely a pretty foundation. It's definitely not gonna be for oily skin, I feel pretty confident in saying, but now I'm kind of remembering this from when I tried it before. It's very glowy looking. However, it doesn't really emphasize anything. Like, it looks like a naturally glowy foundation, but not a metallic glowy foundation. But I still think it's too oily or too dewy for oily skin types. But I mean, it looks pretty. I remember this before now too. I don't love the shade. I don't know where they got light or neutral from this, but anyways. For color corrector, we're gonna go in with these. This is the Exa High Fidelity Corrector. If you've been around my channel for a while, you would probably know this is one of my favorites, and this was my favorite corrector for a long time. That one is the shade Peach, and this one is Pink. And I usually like to just mix them. Peach is a little bit deep for my skin tone typically. Pink is way too light, so if I mix them, it kind of creates the perfect combo. And I'm gonna blend this out with the E72 from Sigma, which is one of their newer brushes. It's like the angled tip like this. It's a really nice brush for the under eyes. This is such a good corrector. You can get it from Credo online or in store if you have a store near you. This is, I believe, their in-house brand, and this is the only product that I've tried from them, but this is a fantastic color corrector if you're looking for one. All right, let's move on to concealer. So we pulled out 2. I have the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer in the shade Buff. And this is Ice Ice Berry in the Kulfi concealer. I think we might just mix a little bit of both. I'm gonna go in with the Kulfi first. This is a good concealer. For some reason, it's not one that I reach for a lot. It's not because it's not good. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes you gravitate towards things, sometimes you don't. This is not one that I do typically. But now let's go in with a little bit of the Lancome as well. And the Lancome is a good shade for my skin tone, so I'm gonna apply a little bit of this where I want a little bit more coverage as well. That Bare Minerals is definitely on the lighter coverage side. It's decent. I would say it's like a light medium. I don't know that you could get it to a full medium coverage though. And just tapping that in with my foundation brush. I'm going to, I think, just use that same Sigma brush for my concealer and hope for the best with these two because I've never mixed them before. They kind of have similar textures, so I'm hoping maybe they will mix well. Looks like a good match. For bronzer, we're going to start with this one. This is NARS Cream Bronzer in Laguna 01, which I have not used in a little while. And I'm using it with the Makeup by Mario F1 brush. So good, so good. I don't know why I don't use this cream bronzer very much because it's a good one. It's very easy to apply. It just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It just kind of blends right in. There's very little effort involved. I know a lot of people love this one. I don't know why I don't use mine more. I am going to use this liquid blush. This is Rare Beauty in the shade Bliss, which is just a really pretty light pink. And I like to get mine off the back of my hand, and I'm just gonna apply it with the same Makeup by Mario brush and just tap it in. This is the lightest Rare Beauty blush, so it's definitely on the lighter side in terms of pigment, but still very, very pretty color. I've been loving this Makeup by Mario brush lately. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's just the size of it, but it's just like the perfect angled cream brush for either blush or bronzer creams. I just really like it. And get just a little bit more. Just add a little tiny bit more right here in the front. All right, we need some powder because we got lots of glow and creams on our face. So we're gonna go in with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake in Cherry Blossom Cake, which I don't use very often, like I was saying earlier. And I don't think I said in the earlier clip when I was applying that concealer, but actually, yes, those two mix very, very well together. I'm just taking my Sigma brush now and just tapping out any small little creases, but honestly, there weren't very many. And I'm gonna use this brush. I think, yeah, this is the F3, also from Mario. I don't know why I've been very into his brushes lately. Okay, I'm gonna take the larger end of this brush, swirl in the cap here. I just washed this brush actually, so it's nice and fresh. And I am just applying this under the eyes and right here by my nose, which that is where, if I'm gonna get like oily, that's where it happens, right there. I also find, and I have yet to find a way to avoid this, but I always get the sunglasses mark. I have very sensitive eyes to the sunlight, and so when I go outside, unless it's pretty dark out, I usually wear my sunglasses and I never fail to get the sunglasses mark. It pulls off the makeup there. It drives me nuts, but I also think it's probably because I get oily right there, so it's kind of, I think that might be why I tend to get shiny there, and then the makeup kind of pulls off. Also, does anyone know? I know Huda Beauty made this powder in a fragrance-free version, but then I guess it was limited edition or something, because now, last time I looked on Sephora, they only had one of the shades in stock in the fragrance-free version. And what's the deal with that? Is it really only going to be limited edition? Because I feel like a lot of people really wanted that. Let me know, because I would love, like, this powder. I'm reminded now that I'm using it. This powder is so nice. I would really like to have that fragrance-free version. But let me know if you have insider information. Is this limited edition, or was it limited edition? Okay, I am gonna go in with a little bit of this Tarte blush in the shade Exposed, just to add a little bit more. And I'm just using this Flower Beauty blush brush. This is such a good color. I feel like I always forget that I even have this, but so pretty. Something else I've been doing lately is when I get to this step of makeup before I go on to eyes and brows, I set my face. I'm going to use this setting spray from Hourglass. I find that this just kind of helps melt and lock everything together, and then I do it again at the end, so I kind of get two doses of setting spray. Okay, let's move into brows. I am gonna fill in with the Makeup by Mario Master Blade Brow Pencil in the shade Classic Brunette. I like this brow pencil actually. I kind of forget that I have it, but I do like it. It's a good shade for my brows. And I'm just gonna set them in place with a Rare Beauty brow gel. Almost done with this. I'm trying to use it up. Did you see Rare Beauty is about to release a powder soon? I'm so excited for that. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but I just saw it on Instagram yesterday. Excited to try that. It's a pressed powder, I think. Let's move into eyes. So I'm gonna prime with the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer and just blending that in with a MAC 217 brush. Still not really sure what I want to do on my eyes. Okay, let's get started with the eyes. So I'm thinking we will use the Yucca palette today, but I'm gonna start actually with a little bit of the NARS cream bronzer. And I'm just gonna use that same brush we used for the primer, which is the MAC 217, but I'm gonna use this as a base, I think, just because I don't know, I like to use the same thing on my eyes in some way that I used on my face. I feel like it just really ties everything together. So I'm just applying this in the crease as like a base for everything. Okay, in this palette, I definitely want to do something with the green. So I think I'm gonna start, well, no, let's start with this middle shade. This is Valley, which is kind of a clay brown, like a reddish brown. And I'm taking the BK Beauty 212 with this color. And I'm taking just a little bit of it because this is definitely a very pigmented color. But I'm just going to take it kind of over the top of that NARS cream bronzer to kind of set it in place. And I'm bringing a little bit down as well into this outer corner. Do the same thing over here, and then we'll use some of the greens in here. Okay, I'm kind of wiping off my brush on my hand, and I'm just very lightly, like I'm holding my brush really, really far out and just kind of going around the edges and blending, because I don't want a harsh, angled eyeshadow look. I used to do that more a few years ago when I first kind of really got into makeup, but I just don't like harsh lines. I like everything to melt into the face and not look. I don't like to see edges, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I like to soften everything really, really well. Now, we gotta use a green. I'm gonna switch to the Refer 14, which is just a smaller blending brush. And we're gonna go into this shade here, which is Acadia. It's this really beautiful, kind of an olivey green, which is my favorite tone of green. I love olive. Tap it off, and I'm gonna put this in the outer corner here. Love that color. This is such a pretty palette. Such a pretty palette. I don't have anything else in my collection like it either, which makes it even more special, you know? Was this last summer this palette came out? I can't even remember. I have a really hard time remembering when makeup came out. I think it was last summer, or maybe it was last spring. Honestly, I can't remember. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing again with my first BK Beauty brush that we used and just kind of going over it. This was the 212 and I'm just softening everything. We gotta use one of these beautiful greens. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna use. I think I wanna use this one, Ray. This really pretty metallic green. And I'm using my finger and I'm just tapping this on the lid. I think I actually did a 3 looks, 1 palette with this now that I think about it when it came out. I'll link it if I did. I'm pretty sure I did. That color is so pretty. So, so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go back into the number 14 brush and I'm gonna grab a little bit of this color as well, this Teepoo color. Honestly, Teepoo and Acadia don't look that different from each other. This one's maybe a little bit more of a yellow green, but I'm gonna take Teepoo over the top where we put Acadia out here just to get a little bit more of that green. All right, now I'm switching to an even smaller brush and I'm gonna go into the dark brown, this cool toned brown down here called Flax. I'm gonna again go over the top of that Teepoo shade. I'm barely touching my eye, like barely. I'm using the very, very tip of the brush, or the very tip of the bristles here, because I want just a little tiny bit of this in the outer corner. And I'm holding this brush like out as far as I can. Then something else I like to do is take a powder. I'm just going to use this Fenty Invisimatte powder. You don't have to do this, but you could just use a plain brush after you kind of wipe it off. But then I go back over everything, so all the different colors, and blend just a little bit. And this really does kind of make a big difference. It doesn't seem like it would do a whole lot, but it does. It just kind of melts everything together, so you don't have like a distinction where you're like, okay, I see where this ends and this starts. Everything just kind of melts together, or I think it does. All right, I am gonna take a little bit of this Give eyeliner. This is in Greener Pastures, and I'm gonna line the waterline with this. I'm getting a little worried about Give, honestly, from Gwen Stefani, because I was in a Kohl's a few days ago, and of course I was in Sephora and Kohl's, and they had the bronzer duos 50% off, the Give bronzer duos, which I've been wanting to try. So I bought one because I've been wanting to try it, and they were 50% off. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of her stuff goes on sale really quickly, or it goes to TJ Maxx. I've seen a ton of her stuff there. I don't know, I'm starting to get kind of nervous about it because I like her brand. I don't want it to go anywhere. Okay, I'm taking a little bit of this liner. Actually, let me do one eye at a time. Taking a little tiny bit of that liner and a little bit of Acadia, which is that first green shade that we used, and I'm gonna kind of smudge that liner out down here. My eye is now starting to water. I don't tend to do this a ton on my lower lash line, mainly because I don't know, I don't really like a lot on the lower lash line on me personally. I think sometimes I do it and it looks okay, but then other times I do it and I don't know, I'm not like a huge fan of it. And for mascara, we're gonna use YSL Lash Clash in brown, which I love. I love this mascara, even though the one downfall is it's definitely difficult to remove, but I do really like it, especially when I do more eyeshadow like this. Okay, last for the lips, I'm gonna go in with the lip liner in the shade Travis from Makeup by Mario. So there's Travis. Now I pulled out this lipstick from Patrick Ta in Oh She's Single, but I don't think that's what I'm going for now that I see what I have on the eyes, so hang on. I think I want to try this one. This is the Luster Glass from MAC in Thanks It's MAC. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Love that. Love this color so much from MAC. And then, you know me, I'm a gloss girl, so I kind of want to do a little bit of a gloss. I pulled out this one from Pat McGrath. I don't know if this goes. Actually, that does kind of. So I'm taking a little bit of this gloss in Flesh Fantasy. Then I think we'll set one more time. All right, this is the finished look. I actually love how this turned out. This Shop My Stash style video usually either goes one of two ways. I either love the makeup or I really don't like it because it's just a random pairing of products, but everything today I really like. The eyes, I love this Yucca. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Yucca palette, I don't know, but this is such a gorgeous palette from Natasha Denona. I'm glad I pulled this out again because this is absolutely beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this Shop My Stash style video, and I hope it inspires you to go through your makeup, shop your stash, use something you haven't used lately, or just whatever is pulling at your heart, whatever pulls at your makeup loving heart, because I know if you're watching this video, you also love makeup. But it's fun to just pull things out and play around sometimes, so I hope this inspires you to do that. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe and follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. All the products that I used today will be linked in the description box and in the YouTube shopping up on the screen. If you use the links, I do make a commission that supports my channel. And thank you so much for being here. I will see you in my next video. Remember, simply be you.